spot. Michael McHenry looking for his first big league hit. Jeff Suppan looking to close out his season the way the other starters have.
And here is our Toyota first pitch of the afternoon. Suppan to bring it in to Dexter Fowler. Ball one. Suppan gets a strike on the outside corner. Jeff's 35 years old. He was born in Oklahoma City, grew up out in California. The Soup, as we call him. Hot shot to the right side. Albert got it in his glove, but it slipped away. That'll be a base hit. Albert a little upset with him. He got that ball in the glove, but the ball rolled out of there. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment for the Cardinals this afternoon.
Holiday, Rasmussen, Wynn are the outfielders today. John Jay not playing, his average at 300, and he will stay that way. Not playing here this afternoon. Descalzo and Ryan on the left side, Schumacher and Albert on the right. And Albert gets tested early. Great attempt by Albert. And Jay, I still think he's got maybe a better chance than anybody else of winning that Gold Glove again at first base.
He should win it. Yep. Toss over to first. Fowler, who has 13 stolen bases, back in time.
There was a time, Jay, where many baseball people would have complained that the Gold Glove was going to the offensive guy more than it was the defense. You know, if you had a big-time player, he'd get the Gold Glove. But in Albert's case, he has less errors than anybody else at first base. Plus, he's having a big year offensively.
Clint Barmas standing in, takes a strike on the outside corner. The plate umpire this afternoon is Ron Kulpa. Fielding Culbreth first. Gary Cederstrom at second, and Ed Heckcox down at third base. Throw over.
Well, Ron won't have very far to go, the home plate umpire, after the season's over. All the players, umpires, coaches, they all have plans for where they'll be tomorrow, and most of them are headed back home.
Another one on the corner, 0-2. Good looking pitch.
With Culpa, native St. Louisan. We see him from time to time, Jay, during the offseason.
Colorado Rockies 83-78 start the day. 263 team batting average. They've lost 7 games in a row. They had that great stretch earlier in the month. That's a little high. When they won 10 in a row and really got back into the race out west. And then it didn't happen for them.
Surprisingly, they stopped hitting. It's a club that's very good top to bottom with the bat. Don Baylor, the hitting coach there, and Jim Tracy, very fine manager. And all of a sudden, it just went south on them.
That's a little low. It's been a nice day up to now for KSDK, Channel 5, the Ryder Cup matches from Wales this morning, a little baseball this afternoon, and NFL football tonight.
What a day.
Yeah. The 2-2 pitch, fouled out of play.
We were hoping for slightly different results from the Ryder Cup today. Americans are 3 back.
They will need 6.5 points in the singles to retain the cup. They need 14 points to retain the cup. Just a little wide, full count. Fowler with the infield single down there at first. Colorado 34-21, playing day baseball this year. On the road, the Rockies are 31-49. 21-19 against Central Division teams. Into center field, Rasmus. One away. Catching today is Michael McKinney. McHenry, I should say. This fellow's 0-4 on the season. Late call up.
About that, you don't have to hit in the big leagues, and you're batting third in the order.
He's 25 years old from Knoxville, Tennessee. Again, a throw over, very close. This fellow was named the best defensive catcher the last 3 years in the Colorado minor leagues. Went to Middle Tennessee State, was a big star there. Another throw, and he's going to be out. Tag is made. Good job there as the Cardinals send Fowler to the dugout.
The good pickoff move starts with quick feet of the pitcher, Jeff Suppan. The throw right there. Fowler, too late to break, knows he can't get back. Albert has him. And what you do is you run him to the next fielder and make him close on the fielder and make that just a one-throw play. Good job by Albert, Brendan Ryan, but more importantly, Jeff Suppan with the quick feet.
There's a strike on the inside corner. Low.
Jay, a lot of interesting things going on in Major League Baseball this final day of the season. Still a race in the American League East. Tampa Bay and the Yankees are tied. And in the National League, a lot of confusing options and possibilities.
Very interesting. That's just foul.
San Diego's made it so by winning the first 2 games of that series against San Francisco. A win today would tie them with the Giants. And if the Braves lose, you got a 3-way tie, and then you've got all kinds of playoff games that will follow.
Yeah, we could have a couple of days of playoffs coming up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's outside. There's a graphic idea of how we stand in the the National League right now. Playoff situations. Got the inside corner, the strikeout after a half inning of play on a beautiful afternoon at Busch. No score. ...2010 baseball at Busch.
Interesting battle. Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday virtually tied with their batting average in 2010. And it'll take this final game to determine who is the leading Cardinal hitter for the season, Albert has never lost that battle in all of his years as a Cardinal. This is the first time he's been threatened this late into the season. Esmil Rogers is the starter for Colorado.
Rogers, 25 years old, from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican.
A lot of young players defensively. Jay Payton is a veteran in left field. Fowler can go get him in center. McHenry, you mentioned, Jay, the defensive catcher, young catcher, gets a start here this afternoon.
Schumacher on the homestand, batting .267. And a leadoff single for the Shoeman.
And a good start for Skip Schumacher. Pulls the ball past the catcher playing first base. Not a lot of range there for Iannetta. Not very familiar with that position. Randy Wynn, I would say, Jay, has done a very nice job as a bench player for the Cardinals. He's been a nice acquisition. He's not a great player anymore, but he has been, I would say, he's been very good.
A strike to him. The switch hitter, batting .254. He's 0 for 2 on this homestand, as not played much. It's a little low. The Phillies and the Braves underway in Atlanta, where Phillies are leading 2-1 going to the fourth inning. Yankees and the Red Sox 2-2 third inning at Boston.
Don't you think the Red Sox would like to deny the Yankees a chance of being division leaders? They would love that, Jay.
You know they would.
I happen to know that about that part of the United States. Boston and New York, not exactly buddies.
No. Cardinals have won 8 of their last 10, 4 in a row. Are 51-29 here at home this year. The 1-1 pitch. Outside.
6 times during Tony La Russa's tenure as a manager for the Cardinals, they have won 50 or more games at home. That's a big number. Jim Leyland, in fact, called Tony a couple of days ago to congratulate him when he won, or when his team won, the 50th home game. Just does not happen very often.
Tony managing his 4,929th game today. Double play. Can they turn it? Yes, they do. It goes 1-6-3 on the double play. And here is Albert. 115 runs this season, 102 walks, 38 of them intentionally. Playing in his 158th game today.
And something on the line. .313 batting average. Actually, he's hitting .31366. Might be important later today. I got my calculator, Jay.
Well, that University of Virginia education of yours, I'm sure you've got the numbers.
Yeah, I learned in 6 years of undergrad that all you got to do is go out and buy a calculator. Be resourceful.
Matt Holliday on deck. This is foul, out of play. Redbirds are 31-27 playing day baseball, and 19-16 against the Western teams this season. Ooh, almost hit him. Albert hitting .385 during this homestand. First in the league in home runs. This chopper foul.
I was reminded by the Colorado broadcasters of the year that Albert won the batting title by percentage points ahead of Todd Helton. I mean, percentage points. And Bruce Bochy, the last at-bat of the year to Todd Helton, he walked him intentionally. He was not really clued into the fact that this race was going on. He felt so bad about it. He apologized to Helton and to the Rockies for doing that.
Out to Barmas at shortstop. And at the end of an inning, no score.
Thanks for being with us. And tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, there'll be kind of a big meeting here for the Cardinals. Tell our viewers what's going to go on.
Well, it's a meeting that we've held annually for many years now, and it's just to do a little recap of the club, sit down with our coaching staff and really get their thoughts. For the purpose of my staff and myself, we're going to just listen and see where they really feel they are with some certain players, and that'll help really set the foundation for future planning.
Ian Stewart pops to Brendan Ryan. How soon do you expect a decision from Tony La Russa?
Well, I'm hopeful and optimistic that it's something that can be done rather quickly. Obviously, with all the potential managerial changes out there, we don't want to get into this to be a scenario where it drags out, because clearly when we get into November, we want to be able to focus on players and players only.
Do you have a game plan of when you'd like to make the first phone call to Albert Pujols, his agent, this offseason?
No, I haven't laid that out at this point, but obviously it's something that all parties know that we need to address at some point, and depending on what kind of momentum we'll have, will dictate the pace.
Final thought, St. Louis is known for great Cardinal broadcasters. Jay Randolph up in our booth right now broadcasting his last game on Channel 5. I'm sure you've encountered Jay and have a great deal of respect for him.
You know, many words come to mind when I think of Jay Randolph, and one is just the ultimate professional and just a class man. And hopefully we'll still see him around a little bit, but he was always a gentleman to me.
John, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Jay and Rick, back to you.
Thank you very much. And the general manager, very kind. Certainly, I have admired the job he's been doing here. What I admire more than anything else, Rick, about him is he's always up front with everybody.
Oh,
he'll talk to anybody. He'll let you know what he's thinking, and he never hedges. And Mo's a really fine person, really outstanding, and it's been fun. But I'll be around plenty.
You'll be around.
I'll be bugging you guys.
You bet you will, and we wouldn't have it any other way. And I think of the job that he has in front of him, and he has been very open and honest about it. And I don't think there's anything that he has not told us about his intentions. And I think the two jobs that Frank mentioned with him, signing Tony La Russa or finding out what his future is, and then turning the attention to Albert Pujols, clearly those are really big jobs ahead.
And that meeting tomorrow with the coaching staff and with Tony. Chris Iannetta at the plate. He's playing first base today, and he has played first base on occasion. This is a long one into center, but Rasmus is there. Well, we talked a little bit about next year. Let's get to your quick fix.
Well,
I don't know how quick it's going to be.
It'll be a 4-month fix, I guess. I mean, when the Cardinals come back next year, what they're going to have to do is find a way to beat the bottom feeders. They have not played well in 2010 against teams that were less than 500, and I think Tony's going to address that if he's here, certainly, and I expect that he will be. Personally, don't know that, but I expect he will be, and I think the team played so well against all the teams in the playoff hunt, Jay, it's hard to understand why they couldn't beat those low teams.
Seth Smith grounds out. We played an inning and a half. Nothing shaking. Day, the Cardinals would like to say a huge thank you to the fans across Cardinal Nation for their support in 2010. Over 3.3 million of you have showed up and supported the Cardinals here at Busch Stadium. Millions more have joined in via radio and TV. Cardinal ownership, management, players like to give you a tip of the cap. A tip of the cap to baseball's best fans. It is you that truly makes St. Louis baseball heaven. Matt Holliday leading off the second inning, batting .314. We'll update the team batting race after this pitch. Here's where we stand right now. How close is that?
Albert bounced out. And Matt Holliday with the slight advantage. That will change a few times throughout the course of this game. It'll be fun to watch that.
Matt's had a fine year. 45 doubles. It's a good sum for anybody in this game in the season. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Wonder what his numbers would be if the season was a month longer, Jay.
Ooh, fly ball into right. Smith coming over. 1 away.
And I'll get the calculator out. Joetta Cordy never misses a game on KSDK. He's been a faithful viewer from Huron, Illinois. He's celebrating her 84th birthday today.
Happy birthday. Colby Rasmus batting .274. Third on the team with 61 walks. I think that's one of the pluses for Colby this year. He's been more patient at the plate.
More patient. Needs to cut down on the strikeouts, but solid year for Colby Rasmus. Jay, I asked a number of players what they thought about you before the game today. Colby said he's just loved his relationship with you, appreciates how kind you have been to him, and he just thinks you're one of the nicest guys he's been around in the game of baseball.
Well, you know, I got to know him on the Caravans the last 2 years, and
that's what he mentioned.
I'm very fond of that young fella from Georgia. Football night in America tonight on NBC and Channel 5. Chicago Bears, New York Giants, Sunday night. Football night, the Bears and the Giants. Coverage begins here at 6 on News Channel 5. Here's Daniel Descalso. He's been rather impressive. Certainly has an opportunity to be a regular on this club next year, maybe at second base. Batting .233. Atlanta leading 3-2. They're in the bottom of the 4th. Down in the Atlanta capital. I should say the Georgia capital of Atlanta. Up the middle. 2-out single for Dirty Dan, as they like to call it.
Dirty Dan hadn't had a hit in a while either. Nice to get back on track again. Been in a bit of a slump after starting out so well. Nice to be talking to Dave McKay again. Short, simple swing. How about the job Matt Pagnozzi has done, Jay?
Yeah, I was going to mention, Rick, and we all know that the Cardinals will be looking for a backup catcher next year. And this fella, with his play over the last 3 weeks, has made a giant stride. He's got a lot of people's attention. Pagnozzi batting .343. Now McHenry wants to go out and talk to Esmail Rogers.
Scary situation in yesterday's game. A fastball up and in on Pagnozzi. Actually hit the tip of his nose. And a fastball mid-90s from Ubaldo Jimenez. That could have been a bad situation. Fortunately, it just barely hit him, and he was fine. And had a chance to visit with Blake Hawksworth before the game, and he's doing much better. Very glad to hear that. He, of course, hit by that line drive and had a concussion that he still feels a little bit of the effects of, but he's doing much better, and he appreciates everybody's support along the way.
Of course, Albert and many of the Cardinals and All of the Rockies have been concerned about their catcher who took that shot here on Friday, Miguel Olivo, but he's doing okay. 2 balls and a strike to Matt Pagnozzi. Descalso back to the bag. And the Braves come up with 4 runs in the 4th inning now and are leading 5-2 over the Phillies in Atlanta. Strike on the inside corner, 2-2.
Now that was a nice clear strike call. We heard that up here like Ron Kolpa was sitting right next to us, didn't we?
Absolutely.
I don't like those lazy calls. I like that old-fashioned, go ahead and belt it out.
You betcha.
Why not?
Into right field, coming on Smith. He didn't get a very good jump, but he made the play. Smith just got to that one. After 2, no score. Official beer of the first inning. Take a look around the stadium. Folks enjoying Budweiser. Yes, indeed. It's Budweiser, and it's what we do. And the voice of the Cardinals, Mike Shannon, joins us. And there are 3 of us here now.
Am I here?
Yes, you're here.
Have you met Jay, by the way?
Hey, James, how are you, sir? Hey, by the way,
you,
look what I have for you. We won't pay attention to this game. Look at this. How about that? That's from us, okay, and the Cardinals.
This was 1977.
Really?
And Bob Starr.
We look
Jack.
the same, don't we?
Absolutely. Polka dots were really in
Big
those
time,
days.
weren't they?
And then this was just
See,
last Sunday.
Look at it. We haven't changed the bids.
Mike, that's terrific. What a...
Yeah, I did this personally myself.
I'm sure.
You can tell by the touch. Correct?
You have your minions working all the time.
Always.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you, Jennings, on an unbelievable career.
Oh, thank you.
What happened there?
Peyton grounded out.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
How about 4-3?
Is that what you want to put down? That's
let's
good
put
for me.
4-3 down.
4-3. That's good for me.
You get to decide today, Jay.
Jennings, let me tell you something. It's been such a pleasure. First of all, being with you, being your friend all through the years, but be able to work with you professionally and to have the kind of fun that we've had all through the seasons. It's I'm going to miss it big time.
Well, I'll still be hanging around.
Well, I know that. I'm not getting rid of you.
No,
Don't get me wrong. We'll be at the track. We'll be at the golf course. All those good things. We'll have our cold, frosty ones. But the work that we've done, nationally, we've done it for KSDK and for the Cardinals. And I know. Have we ever done football together? We haven't done football together.
Haven't done football together, no. But you never know.
Baseball,
the phone might ring.
Baseball was enough, right?
Here's a pop-up off the bat of Nelson. And Albert takes care of that.
And now I turn it over to Ricky here, and you guys have had fun, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Mike, we have had just a blast, and Jay has been so great to me, taught me so many things, as I know he's been that for you over the years, too, and so many other broadcasters. And that's one of the things that you hear time and time again of people that know Jay, how much we've learned from him about being a gentleman, number one, but also about this craft.
And I can tell you, going back to NBC and his NBC days, every time that they got an athlete off of the field, they gave him to Jay.
Right.
Or if they got a janitor off the street, they gave him to Jay. It didn't matter. Jay always got him.
That was my lot in life.
he broke in so many people into this wonderful business, and he did it the right way. And that's why NBC did that. They knew every time they got someone they wanted to bring into the booth that they really cared about, they said, Jennings, we're sending Mike Shannon to see you. We're sending Ricky Harton to see you.
Deep in the hole, Ryan. Long throw, and there they go. Down 1, 2, 3.
That's the way we like it. 1, 2, 3.
You guys have been very nice. Thank you. You shouldn't have done all of the stuff.
Well, we only do it because it's true.
Bulbs. Use them at your home or business during the month of October to show your support of the St. Louis Coleman affiliate and the fight against breast cancer. You can find the power of the pink light bulbs at participating Walmarts. Light up St. Louis. Pink for the powers of the pink campaign.
I have to tell the folks one story about you, Jennings.
Only one?
We're in New York, and we're staying at the hotel, and so Roger Maris and myself and Big
Julie Isaacson, what a great gentleman he was.
And so the game is over. We've done the game on radio. Jay was doing television, and they were off that day. So he's coming in as we're going out. Jay Randolph's coming in, we're going out. He said, where you guys going? I said, well, we're going to this brand new disco. The Kennedys and all that kind of people went there. And so Jay shows up, and there's 5 of us there, and 2 people were having soft drinks, and then there was maybe a mixed drink and a couple of Budweiser. So Jay said, I don't want to buy a round here, so bring a round. So they bring the round, and this would be foul off to the left. They bring the round, and Jennings gets the tab, and it's like $176 for one round. He says, no, you misunderstand. He said, I just wanted to buy it around. And the cocktail waiter said, "Sir, that is around."
Boy, those prices. What was the name of that place? Elaine's, I believe.
No. Or something I don't remember.
Well, I
have a good capacity for not remembering night spots.
I can remember that the prices were jacked up just a little bit.
But it was a new disco up there.
Yeah.
We got there, they had nothing but limos out in front.
Oh, you couldn't get in unless you had, a
Big
special
Julie with
Big
you.
Julie or,
it was something like that, though.
Man, when that bill hit me, I almost fell off the chair.
Well, you said, "I'm going to buy around." I had a good night at the track.
Yeah,
remember that?
I did. I had a very good day. And
that took care of that, didn't it?
Yeah. Bye-bye.
We've had a few fun times, you and I, Mr. Randolph.
Yes, sir. We had more than a few, and you have been a fabulous friend, Michael. And we've had so many good friends in so many cities, and so many golf courses and restaurants, you name it.
And the times that we got to spend in Washington, D.C. with your father when he was in the Senate. Boy, I'll tell you, you got some recognition when you walk down the aisles with Jennings Randolph.
Well, he was a grand man, no question. Ryan strikes out, and here is Suppan batting .208.
How about the night we raced the buggies over at Fairmount Park?
I'd finished dead last.
Almost gave Buster a heart attack.
Yeah, that was.
We still have a tape of that, by the way.
I know.
We should get that and roll it on them. You give it to Tom and Mike; they'll take care of it.
But that was something. The celebrity trotting race. And I had worked very hard to get ready for that week. They told me this horse was good. I went over and I trained him twice on the track and everything else. And the starting gate, those movable starting gates that they had in harness, of course, off we go. And that horse of mine, I don't know whether somebody put lead in his belly or what, but he had nothing.
The guy told me, he said, just do this until he gets around the turn. And then, well, when I got around the turn, Deerdorf was about 400 feet in front of me.
You and Deerdorf had a real battle that night, I remember. Yeah,
I got him.
You got him at the end.
Got him at the wire. It was funny, though. We're going wheel to wheel as a curveball is a strike, and that takes care of Suppan. We're going wheel to wheel. I got my wheel about 3 or 4 inches in front of his. I said, "I'm coming over, big boy." He says, "Come on over." He didn't move. I was afraid to kill the horse if he ran over him.
Let me remind you about this Thursday night at 7 in the evening, a special primetime Cardinal Nation. Join the News Channel 5 Sports Department for a look back on the 2010 season. Cardinal Nation this Thursday night in prime time at 7 on your home of Cardinal baseball, News Channel 5. Schumacher into left field, and the Shoeman is 2 for 2.
Well, Jennings, you've had some wonderful thrills in this business over the years, and I know you're not retiring or going away, but it's just our last KSDK.
Yeah, I'm looking to the future, Mike. That's where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. So,
really?
Absolutely.
This is first day of the rest of your life.
That's
right?
it.
My goodness. You will enjoy it, I will say that.
Yes, sir. But you and I have been very fortunate with the wonderful memories that we've
great
had.
Fans all through the years.
Oh, as I said yesterday, and I really meant it, my favorite audience is Cardinal Nation, and I've been blessed to be able to come into their homes for so many years. And this ball club and the tradition, and nothing quite like it.
Roaming around with Stan and Red. All those guys all through the years.
You mentioned Maris. I was so thrilled that he became a Cardinal, and I know how close he was to you. You guys had a great bond between each other from your baseball days, and I found him to be just one of the most remarkable people I ever knew.
Charming, wasn't he?
Yeah. 1 ball and 1 strike as Ron Culpa is behind the plate. He's barking them out. This is the way a guy should umpire.
It sounds like Dutch Renner down there.
It does. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Just think of all the greats you've worked with in this business. Man, oh man, you must have a list that's off the table.
I was surprised. I didn't know it was going to happen. They had a piece on the pregame show.
That Frank did? That was great.
That was, of course, really a surprise to me. And I very touched by Dick Enberg. And I worked with Dick when he was just getting into the business. He was a dean of a junior college out in the Valley in Los Angeles. And, of course, he got that opportunity to do the UCLA basketball games over that great go-round out there, and worked for Eddie Einhorn and, of course, the Cowboy, Gene Autry, for so many years. And Dick is still going strong at age 75 and a wonderful friend. And his remarks were, it touched me deeply today. But I worked with Kurt Gowdy, Jim Simpson, and I had, as you mentioned, a lot of color analysts over the years. Is that a balk?
That's a balk.
Yes, indeed. But one of my favorites also was, I think, as fine a baseball analyst as there ever was, Tony Kubek.
Yes, very good.
And working with guys like Bob Greasy and Merlin Olsen in football. Miss Merlin, he passed away recently. Full count. A walk. That's the first pass issued by Rogers.
All the great people you've covered, the great horse races. There's some great horse races we've had through the years. The cemetery and the match races.
I was privileged, as you remember, to do some of the first Breeders' Cups, and that was really something else. It was a lot of fun. And
whenever NBC got into something new, they gave it to you. Horse racing, they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, well, let's update for you the batting averages of Mr. Pujols and Mr. Holliday. We'll keep you up to date as we go through this game. And here is Albert. Grounded out to end the first. Ball's outside. And seeing this guy at the plate, and I was talking to some folks yesterday, and I've talked about it often during the season, how fortunate we are to be able to watch this fellow over the last decade. He is the greatest player in the game today, and I think will go down as one of the greats. That one is safe, and the ball is overthrown, and the Cardinals are going to get on the board as Schumacher comes home.
Well, that'll be at least one E6. We'll have to wait to see how they score. They're going to give him a base hit on that? Come on. You can't do that.
I don't think Holliday's going to like that. Huh?
Well, it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter if it's a ground ball right to the shortstop. You can't give him a base hit there. Come on, I don't care who's scoring and what. So it's E6, and well, it's going to give him a base hit in E4 now, I guess. E6, yeah, that's
E6
more like
and E4.
Yeah, that's the
more
proper
like
scoring.
Yeah.
What the heck, I guarantee you, Albert didn't want that base hit.
No.
He wouldn't have even taken it.
The Cardinals lead 2-0, and here is a fly ball off the bat of Holliday that is into short right, taken out there by Nelson. But the Birds have the lead. It's 2-0 after 3.
at least 2 or 3 years old. They must have taken that in the World Series one in 206 or something like that, huh?
You guys are overdoing this today. This is like pork chops smothered in pork chops here. What are we doing?
Hey, you're loved, Jennings. You are loved by many.
Well, here is Dexter Fowler. Fowler got the infield single and then was cut down on the bases back in the first.
We're not going to mention how hard this has been working with one another over the years either, are we, Jennings?
Well, it's like Jay Jr. always says, Dad, one of these days you're going to have to get a real job.
No, thanks. This is too much fun. And working with guys like we have in the truck down there all through the years with Mike and Tom and all of his people and their people. We go back to the first guy that ever started this TV stuff.
Harry Coyle.
Harry Coyle, my goodness. And, of course, I think both Mike and Tom had a little association with Harry Coyle also. And you can tell in the pictures that we get now.
Well, almost every person that directs baseball in America today was touched by Harry Coyle one way or the other. And he really was a magnificent and talented man. I've always appreciated, since my early days, and I guess it's because I started with humble beginnings in this business, the people behind the scenes. If we didn't have the wonderful technicians and if we didn't have the salespeople to sell it so we could put it on the air, I mean, all of those people.
How about the advancements in this business that we started? Listen, we used to start with have 2 cameras or something. Now we've got, how many slow motion cameras and all of the.
And those cameras, they used to have to. They were bigger than me, and they had to pull them up by cable to get them up in the air. It was unbelievable. Yeah, the technical advancements have been remarkable. Here's a walk.
Don't want to walk this guy. He can run like the wind.
Yeah, he has 13 stolen bases in 20 attempts. Catch all the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October the 6th with the Division Series on TBS.
What was your most unusual assignment ever?
Well, I remember Don Ohlmeyer had a show that he put together called The Games People Play. And this is.
Was it on after midnight?
No, it was not. It was on. It was on in prime time for a while, in fact, and close play at first. But I got a call from him, and he said, "I want you to go to Grand Junction, Colorado. You're going to cover an event there, and it's going to be big. I want you to get there a couple of days early so you can get it all figured out." And here's a shot off the glove of Descalso and into left, and all the way to third goes Fowler.
Oh boy, he can fly.
Oh, he can really run,
especially from first to third. He reminds me, and he maybe even goes quicker than the great Dodger Willie.
But anyway, to make a long story short, he says, you're going to go cover a guy jumping a Thunderbird automobile off a ski jump. And he had crazy things like that. And I think that was about the craziest. A couple of weeks later, he called me, and I did a tug-of-war between the AFL-CIO and the auto workers on the island in the river in Detroit. And I did that with Coach Al McGuire. He was my color man.
Well, he was an expert on rope pulling.
He was an expert on everything, but a remarkable man.
How about McGuire, all those games you worked with him?
Oh, they were terrific. And,
he's a character, too, isn't
yeah.
he?
And
remember
my
the first
years
time you introduced me to him at a racetrack one night.
My years of doing Big 8 basketball, of course, with Gary Thompson for 19 seasons. That was a special time in the wintertime and the weekends, and all of the golf we had the opportunity to do, and the Olympics. I guess have done just about everything but women's field hockey over the years.
We can arrange that. Yeah, I remember I was in the racetrack there. You introduced me to McGuire, and then introduced me to some female jockey.
Here in St. Louis, I did some preseason football, of course, and for many years the horse jumping for Anheuser-Busch on ESPN with Mr. Williamson. And he's still living here in the St. Louis area.
Ooh. Well, he's quick.
He is really quick.
Fast.
I thought sure he was going to be out.
He eats up the last 10 or 15 feet of ground, that guy. See the batter comes, stop, that stops him, and then he throws back. Look at you hesitated, and he still got back in time. This kid is really quick and really fast. That's a great combination.
Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes on McHenry.
So he was a heck of a basketball player, too, Dexter Fowler. I'd like to have him as a wide receiver, I'll tell you that. Just run.
Can't beat that quickness, can you?
Ooh. He is. I'd say he's probably, Willie Davis went from first to third in the Dodger uniform, probably as good as anyone, but that kid's pretty close, if not better.
And it's 2-2. Fowler is 24 years old from Georgia, and he was on the Olympic team, of course.
Atlanta guy. It's right outside of, I think, Marietta.
2 on.
Go to the restaurant.
Nobody out. 2-2. Full count. Redbirds leading 2-0. Top of the 4th inning. That lead in jeopardy as we show you that Atlanta score. They now lead the Phillies 7-2.
Boy, there could be a playoff situation there mounting. They win and San Diego wins.
Struck him out. Big strikeout for Soup. Nice pitch on the corner.
Yeah, and he's fanned McHenry twice now. Watch for this pitch. Right where you want to throw it. Low and outside. Perfect.
Ian Stewart, who popped out to shortstop in the 2nd, comes to the plate. Stewart's 25 years old. Long Beach, California is home. He was a 1st-round pick back in 2003.
You have all this information. You're always doing your homework, aren't you, Mr. Rainbow?
I've been an over-preparer, I guess.
As long as you're not an over-presenter. That's the best.
Off-speed pitch. Couldn't catch up with that one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Rams are winning 17-3 in the 3rd period, Jennings.
How about that? It's wonderful.
How are the what's that other team over in Pittsburgh? They have the Pirates and or the hockey team. Oh, the Steelers? Is that what?
They won 4 Super Bowls.
Oh, really? With that ball-headed guy?
They're actually behind right now, 10-7.
Boy, what a wonderful owner they had, huh? Mr. Rooney.
We've got a lot of stories about him. I'll never forget.
Goodness.
Mr. Rooney was one of the great owners in all of sport. Can't handle that off-speed pitch, can he?
I tell you, we had a guy over in Pittsburgh that owned the baseball team. The only man ever to win a World Series.
And a Kentucky Derby.
And the Irish Derby.
That's right.
Only man ever to win those 3.
The Galbraiths. Great family.
You were friends with them.
Yep. All right, a 2-2 pitch coming.
When's your book coming out?
Boy, there's been a lot of talk about that lately. We'll have to see. I don't know. Inside. Full count.
Laurie tells me that the Steelers have 6 Super Bowls.
Well, they had 4 there.
Yeah, you're talking about with the ball-headed quarterback. When Mr. Rooney was there, they had 4. That's right.
His son Dan now runs the club, and Dan is also the ambassador to Ireland.
Chip off the old block. They have a wonderful little pub about 1,000 yards from our spring training door that we come out of. It's amazing the things you learn on this telecast, isn't it?
I'm telling you.
We know where all the bars and the pubs and the racetracks are.
It's more than you ever wanted to know.
Great book, though, Jimmy.
Another foul out of play.
I'd like to write the forward for that.
Well, you may get the chance. We'll see. May get the chance.
Wow. You'd have to work a long time to remember all that stuff.
I do want to thank Dave Dorr. You remember Dave,
certainly,
sports writer.
Yeah.
He recently wrote an article in Woods and Irons, the new golf magazine in the area, and my brother called me today to tell me how much he enjoyed the article, and cool. I want to tell him that about
talented, right?
Yeah.
Talented man.
Schumacher.
That wasn't an easy
territory. Nice job of pitching.
Got him at the plate, too. All right.
Sir, double play.
Now, there's a guy knowing what he's supposed to do with the baseball before it happened. He knew he had Fowler over there at Speedster. He knew he was going to tag up. And he, as the ball was coming down, that's all he was thinking about, is to throw home.
Colby Rasmus flied out to center field in the second, leading it off here in the bottom of the fourth with the Redbirds leading 2-0.
You had to have some unusual events in your career also. How about some of that horse jumping down there?
That was great fun, as we have a single off the bat of Rasmus. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on News Channel 5 is brought to you by Bank of America. Get Cardinals banking only from Bank America. Get started at a banking center or go to bankofamerica.com/Cardinals. By the Dave Sinclair Automotive Group, a proud sponsor of Cardinals baseball. And by McDonald's. Get 50 hot, crispy chicken McNuggets for just $9.99 only at McDonald's. Ball gets away.
He can't, man. Jennings, how about your work in the Olympics? That had to be a lot of fun.
It was, and Frank, in the piece that he ran today, had a little of me over in Sapporo, Japan, back in '72, and it was a very exciting time. I spent 28 days in Sapporo on the island of Hokkaido, and that's the northernmost island in the Japanese chain. And Kurt Gowdy was our host, and.
Yeah. They look about the same.
No, but we had a great crew. Gowdy and Jim Simpson and a young fella doing his first network broadcast, doing a little hockey. His name was Al Michaels. You can hear him tonight on NBC. But that was a terrific experience, and I've had so many. I just people always ask me what was the one that. It might have been Yukio Kasaya winning the gold medal for Japan, the first gold medal the Japanese ever won in the Winter Olympics. That I broadcast his ski jump in the 70-meter ski jump, 70,000 people on the side of a mountain, and the little farm that he grew up on just over the mountain, about 15 miles away from where the jump was.
Pretty neat, huh?
Great story, yeah. 1 ball and no strikes. Up the middle, it bounds off the leg of Rogers into left. Colby into third, standing up. A base hit, runners at the corners. Descalso is 2 for 2.
Both the left-hander, Schumacher 2 for 2, and now Descalso 2 for 2.
And an opportunity for Pagnozzi, who flied out to right in the second inning. I was saying to Rick when Pagnozzi came to the plate the first time that Cardinals, of course, are in search for a backup catcher next year, and this fellow's gotten some attention with the way he's played the last 3 weeks.
No doubt about it, especially with the bat. He's had some big hits for the Cardinals, and he came into this game hitting .343. You know, the label on Matt Pagnozzi all along is he's a good catcher defensively, but the bat was weak. But it hasn't been since he's been called up.
That's a little low.
You know what he's done more than anything is he's been very aggressive. Nice young man, too.
Successful suicide squeeze the other night. And I liked what McGuire said about him. He doesn't have too many moving parts up there. He's
compact,
very compact hitter, and he certainly has looked good here.
Even a ground ball for a double play will get a run in. What you don't want to do here is strike out. You want to put the ball in play. And really what you want to do is get something up in the strike zone and hit it as hard as you can into the center part of the field. And you're not looking for a base hit as much as you are to get that guy in from third base.
At Boston, the Red Sox leading 4-2 in the 6th inning over the Yankees.
That race still to be decided. Who's going to be home field advantage and who's going to win the division. Right down to the last day. We've got 3 different things have to happen, maybe 4. There you
Slap
go.
To the right side. A nice piece of hitting.
What a great piece of hitting.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
And Rasmus scores the RBI for Pagnozzi.
That's the kind of stuff that you have to be really keep your eyes open. And he's opened some eyes. A little piece of hitting like that. He just slapped it through the right side. He wanted to put the ball in play. And watch this little piece. That ball was low and away, and he just punched it out there. That was really neat.
Bob Abadaga, the pitching coach, out to talk with Rogers.
You know, they want this young man to get as many opportunities to work. He's a youngster with Rogers. He came from the Dominican Republic, first came to the big leagues with Oakland. But, you know, you need for these youngsters to work out of jams like he's in.
I want to remind everybody to join News Channel 5. Make the pledge to hang up and drive. Help end distracted driving by keeping your eyes on the road and off the phone. Take the pledge now at ksdk.com. Everyone who makes the pledge will be entered to win a brand new 4-door SEL Ford Fiesta. Make our roads safer. Hang up and drive.
Well, before we hang up our career for this time anyway, we're off, we're on. I want to say thanks for all the great memories, Jennings, and thanks mostly for your friendship.
Well, believe me, it has been my pleasure. Swing and a miss as Ryan.
Sometimes I surprised you a bit, but
sometimes, most of the time.
Never know what you were going to get, right?
No, sir.
But it was 100%, whichever way we went.
Ryan struck out back in the 3rd inning.
Boy, that was really a nice piece of hitting by Pagnozzi.
Very impressive.
Big run, too. And as my partner John Rooney says, keep the line moving.
That's on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Kind of disappointed in this gentleman, Brendan Ryan, this year. Well, maybe we expected too much. They just keep throwing him that off-speed stuff.
And here's one to the right side.
Another good piece of it.
Descalso coming home. He is there. 4-0 St. Louis.
That's 4 singles in a row. That should get their bullpen up and busy.
RBI number 36 on the year for Ryan.
See, he took that fastball that was up and in and hit it the other way. Did a good job.
Getting him on that curveball, the off-speed job, and then he threw him a fastball.
Don't get me into that.
Well, Suppan will try to.
It's all right to show him the fastball, but you can't give it to him down the middle like that.
Suppan will try to sacrifice here.
And here's a guy that can switch off and swing the bat, too.
Ooh, my goodness.
That's a really good defense on that, okay? You throw the ball right at the pitcher, and he's going to use the bat to protect himself, and you might get a double play if he uses it. He was just trying to get out of the way. But if you throw it right at him, he's liable to put the bat out to protect himself and get a pop-up, and you'll wind up getting a double play. Tony doesn't like that when they use that particular play.
Soup got a visit from Okendo, the third base coach.
I wouldn't mind seeing him switch off. He's a good player.
Oh, that's a nice bunt. Throw to third in time.
Just didn't get it far enough down the line. It was a good play by the pitcher, though. He jumped off there in a hurry, didn't he?
Commerce Bank proudly presents this day in history. Bob Gibson throws a complete game, beating the Astros 5-2. And the victory gives him his first career 20-win season back in 1965. Here's Schumacher. The Schuman's average up to 266 after a couple of hits today.
Or he almost got that average up to 280. I think he was up to as high as 279 off to a very, very slow start.
Oh, he had a terrible first half, but it's much better since the All-Star break.
Outside.
Beautiful afternoon here.
This weather has been great, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Your old buddy Dotel is warming up down on the Colorado side.
He is old, you're right.
We know all those old. I can remember when I first got into this business, we had Brigg and Burns, and we could go to them and ask them about this particular player, this event that they had, and so forth.
They were a fund of knowledge, weren't they?
Big time.
On the ground, and they only play over to first.
It's a good spot for win here if they don't get anything hitting. They should with Pujols on deck.
When the switch hitter grounded into a double play in the first, walked and scored in the third.
It'd be nice if he could reach somehow, some way. They walk him. Albert gets up there with the bases loaded, wouldn't he?
Signed as a free agent back in early June. Fouled away. Wooden's been around a long, long time. Never been on a playoff team, and was hoping that would happen to him after he got the opportunity to come over with the Redbirds, but it wasn't to be. He's playing in his 1,714th game without ever making the playoffs. One ball and one strike.
I guess Ernie Banks might have the record.
Well, come to think of it, I'm sure he does.
I haven't looked into it, but
yeah,
you know, the long career he had and never made it. He'll be among them anyway. How many presidents have you been with, Jennings?
I have had every president since Roosevelt, except for our current president and the second Bush. So what is that, 10 or 11 maybe? I don't know. I'd have to.
It's plenty.
Yeah.
So you didn't meet the second Bush or
No.
President Obama?
No, I haven't met these last.
Well, we should arrange.
Oh, we've got time.
Roosevelt. Your dad tells some great stories about the Roosevelts.
Oh, that was a magical time. The New Deal. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 out.
When are you going to write the book?
Is that an echo? I think the 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count.
The board's got it.
Yeah, I think they've got it now. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The guys in the truck, they don't miss a thing, do they?
Grounder out to first, and Iannetta makes the play on his own.
All right, Jennings.
Up with 2. Thank
Love
you,
you,
Michael.
man. Thanks for all the great memories.
4-0 St. Louis. But it's going to be spring training 2011 next February. That looks pretty inviting there, doesn't it, Rick?
Let's go tomorrow, Jay.
Here's Iannetta.
Oh, my.
Yes, sir. Good old South Florida. Iannetta fly to center field in the second inning. Let's get an update for you. Atlanta 8-2 over Philadelphia. They're in the top of the 7th. I mentioned Boston is beating the Yankees in the hub city this afternoon. Fly ball into short right. Wind coming on in foul ground. He takes it, 1 away. Tomorrow on News Channel 5, it's an all-new Monday night on NBC. At 7, it's Chuck, followed at 8 by The Event. The mystery deepens on the new drama everyone's talking about. And at 9, it's Chase. U.S. Marshals race to track down a notorious mobster before he strikes again. It's the best in comedy, in drama. That's tomorrow night on News Channel 5. Rick Horton rejoins us here. Mr. Shannon was in a rare mood today. It was a whirlwind 2 innings here.
I'll bet it was. Never a dull moment with
Wow.
you two guys, Jay.
I was having trouble keeping up with him today.
That probably wasn't the first time you've made that statement.
No, that's true. Smith grounded out back in the second inning. Smith was 28 this week. Jackson, Mississippi. That's a foul ball.
Jay, I mentioned that I talked to a number of the Cardinal players about you. Brendan Ryan wanted to personally express his appreciation of you and how much he admires you. He says you've been very, very good to him personally, and he just enjoyed your voice as well, and has enjoyed your voice and will continue to enjoy your voice. But he has just loved his association with you, and he said it very personally and with a lot of passion, as he always does, Jay.
Yeah, he's a passionate guy, no question about that. Down to Albert. The toss on in time.
I got the feeling he would have come up in between innings and said that had we given him a chance.
I don't think Tony wants him to do that.
No, I don't think so.
You know, they're the most accurate weather team in town. Cindy Pressler and Scott Connell and Mike Roberts and Anthony Slaughter. In fact, they've won the weather rate seal of approval 7 straight years now for the most accurate forecasts in St. Louis. The Weather Plus weather team, only on News Channel 5.
In mentioning the manager, Tony La Russa, was just vehement, Jay, about wanting a particular picture that he has seen of you.
I'm getting the picture for him. I mentioned earlier the wonderful article that Dave Dorr did in Woods and Irons.
There it is.
That's the. I was dressed. You can't see the bottom of that, but I've got some yellow +4s on as well, and that's Mr. Ziegler on the right and Curtis Strange on the left. But that was out in Palm Springs, and I'm wearing this yellow outfit. And I walked into the media room as Arnold Palmer was doing his news conference, and as soon as I walked through the door, he just stopped talking. He looked up and he said, "Oh my goodness, a 1,000-pound canary." Ooh, this hits Suppan, and it is going to be, could have been a 1-2-3, but boy, that shot, hope Soup's all right. Check on him.
Ball hit very hard off the bat of Jay Payton. Soup does not appear to be in any kind of distress as
where this
ball hits him right in his wallet.
Does he wear it on that side?
Just a safer word to say, Jay.
Very good, yeah. Everything seems to be okay.
Well, I could have said it hit him in his brains, but I don't think Soup would appreciate me saying that.
They're going to allow him to throw a couple of pitches here, I think.
You know, in all seriousness, that's a part that, you know, you really use your hips quite a bit and your legs to pitch, and that's the kind of thing that might stiffen up on him a bit. I don't know how many innings Soup is planning on going, or the Cardinals are planning on allowing him to go today, but I imagine that, you know, if he can get through 5 or 6, that's probably enough. And I have a sense that it might get worse after he sits down.
Yeah.
And they're making sure, the home plate umpire Ron Kulpa, making sure that Jim Tracy knows it's not an official visit. The only conversation that took place with the Cardinal personnel from the bench had to do with his health, not about situational pitching. And if you say anything like that, like, don't forget to do this with this hitter, it becomes a mound visit.
Tracy's done a very fine job since taking over out in Colorado. Took over in May of last year. Was the 2009 Manager of the Year. Prior to that, he'd managed the Dodgers and the Pirates. 5th manager in Rockies history. Really fine gentleman, 54 years old, from Hamilton, Ohio.
You'd have to go a long way to find somebody that does not like him.
Yep, you sure would. He's a prince. Nelson popped out in the 3rd inning. Strike on the inside corner. They asked for the appeal, and fielding Culbreth says no down at first base.
Little bird told me that one of my favorite people is watching our telecast today, a lady named Sue Randolph. You might have heard of her.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
I know that she's watching today, and I just appreciate the fact that she's let us all borrow you the last 4 years, Jay.
Shot into left field. Oh, there'll be 2 on and 2 out.
Special lady.
Yes, indeed. I want to remind you to get Cardinal banking only from Bank of America. You get the Cardinals logo on your debit card, credit card, and checks, plus get extra base rewards with every credit card purchase. Learn more at a banking center or bankofamerica.com/Cardinals. We're going to get a pinch hitter here, Ryan Spilborghs, batting .279. He's from Santa Barbara, California. He plays all 3 of the outfield positions and has been a pretty good utility man over the years. One ball and 1 strike. Balls and a strike. Oh, that just missed.
Soup sometimes goes into his slow motion when he gets runners on base. He slows action down just a little bit, tries to control the pace.
Out into right, on the run, Wynn, and he makes the catch. Nice job by Randy Wynn. Cardinals 4, Colorado nothing. Introducing the authentic Texas Toast Bacon Cheese Thick Burger, now at Hardee's. And by Dave Munganast Lexus of St. Louis and Plaza Lexus, who invite you to test drive a Lexus today. What a beautiful afternoon. Verizon's call to the bullpen, number 35. Tavio Dotel, the veteran. It's his 68th appearance this year. 4.14 ERA. And Albert Pujols to lead it off. Albert reached on an error in the third, grounded out in the first. Red Sox now leading the Yankees 7-2. They're in the 7th inning at Fenway Park. And it's 8-4 Braves over the Phillies. Bottom of the 7th in Atlanta. High and tight. Walk to Albert. That's the 103rd walk of the season. And there's the update on the batting averages with Pujols and Holiday in this neck-and-neck battle.
And Albert had a pitch to hit in that at-bat, gotten a base hit. He might have pulled ahead of Holiday, but Dotel not able to find the strike zone.
Holiday at the plate. And that's going to do it for Albert. Folks standing and applauding as Albert is out of the game. Curtain call. He's something else, folks.
Albert will not lead the Cardinals in hitting in 2010, but I think there's a lot of folks that would like to have him back for a number of years anyway.
Fouled away. Dotel came over from the Dodgers on September the 18th. Prior to that, he was at Pittsburgh. He has been around.
Dotel is a pitcher that the Cardinals have wanted a couple of different times in his career. He has a really live arm, Jay, and has the ability to save games. Hasn't pitched well for the Rockies, though, since coming over to Jim Tracy's club, and they really needed some help in the pen. Manny Corpus had been a closer for them, and he got hurt. Houston Street's been good, but not great. He's missed some time.
Gets away just a little bit. Alan Craig is the runner at first for Albert. Into center field. On the run, Fowler, and he gets there. Boy, he is quick. And here's Rasmus, who flied to center. In the fourth, he singled and scored. 4-7-0 for St. Louis, 0-4-2 for Colorado. Bottom of the 5th inning. Redbirds looking to finish the season with 5 victories and a record of, let's see, that would be 87, 86, 76. This ball out to center field. Redbirds would end the season 86 and 76 with the win. Remind you about the morning news on News Channel 5. It is tops. Starts early. Art Holiday and Jennifer Blome favorite weekday morning show, Today in St. Louis, getting you what's new and what's now and what's next. Today in St. Louis, weekdays beginning at 4:30 a.m. A shot that is foul deep to right. Well, Holiday, Rick, as you mentioned, is going to be the leader batting wise. Looks like for the 2010 season. That stops quite a streak, doesn't it?
Guess we'll have to compute if Holiday does get one more at bat and doesn't get a hit where he ends up.
Yeah.
That'll make it even closer.
Yeah. Oh, 0-2 to Descalso. 2 for 2 on the afternoon. Batting average all the way up to 281. As I mentioned, he'll have a very strong shot, I think, in spring training.
And doing the quick math, if Holiday does have one more at bat in this game and does not get a hit, he will go below Albert Pujols.
I wonder if he'll have another.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
To the right side and through the legs of Nelson. That's an error. But Descalso reaches for the third time.
Nelson looks very, very shaky at second base. He has had a tough game. Doesn't even have his right hand anywhere near the glove. He's just kind of sticking his glove down, bent over awkwardly. And I tell you, that is not good fielding position for a second baseman.
Pagnozzi has flied to right and singled and picked up an RBI in the fourth.
It's his second error, Jay. He had that error on that play at second base where he threw the ball into the Cardinal dugout. John Rooney called it a somewhere over the rainbow throw. Called it a Judy Garland throw.
Foul back. Pagnozzi's batting average .351. 9 RBIs and a home run since coming up from Memphis. It's been a very pleasant trip for him up to now. Oh, 0-2. These Rockies swept the Cardinals at Coors Field back on July 6th, 7th, and 8th. Score in those games 12-9, 8-7, and 4-2. Fouled out of play. The Cardinals have swept the first 3 here, 6-1, 3-0, and 1-0 in 11 innings. Some people say there's no home field advantage in baseball. I don't know.
Don't tell the Cardinals. Don't tell the Rockies that. Don't tell the Rams that either, by the way. Nice afternoon for them. Looks like they're going to beat the Seahawks this afternoon.
That's terrific. This gets by, and the runners will advance. A wild pitch.
I guess you'd say the Europeans had the home field advantage over in Wales, don't they?
They do. And the U.S. has a mountain to climb. U.S. needs 7.5 points in the singles matches to retain the Ryder Cup.
A couple more opportunities here, a couple more RBI opportunities for Matt Pagnozzi. He has been very good, Jay. Situational hitting, put the bat on the ball, making something happen.
How about that little
just took it the other way?
Shot to right there a moment ago as he's going to go down this time. He strikes out. But we played 5. Cardinals 4. Colorado nothing. In the action.
Suppan picks off Dexter Fowler. That stops an opportunity. Albert Pujols hot shot to short. Turns into an E6, then an E4. 2 Cardinals runs will score there. Then Skip Schumacher throws out Fowler at the plate by 10 feet with that strong arm. And Matt Pagnozzi delivers an RBI base hit the other way. A lot of contributions from a lot of sources here this afternoon.
Dexter Fowler stands in. He got an infield single in the first and walked in the fourth.
Mentioned, Jay, that a number of the Cardinal players were talking about you. Chris Carpenter on the right said he just loved hearing your voice and has loved hearing it. He particularly said, I loved riding on the bus with Jay on the road trips. He said, I enjoyed seeing him, just a wonderful man. And Adam Wainwright, laughing to his left, said this to me when I asked him about you, Jay. He said that Jay Randolph has helped to make a great baseball town even greater.
Oh, that's high praise. Thank you. My goodness. Strikeout.
Ryan Franklin also told me that you were very positive in all your dealings with the players. He just appreciated your positive outlook throughout the entire 2010 season. And Ryan Franklin called you a great man.
I don't think I could ever grow a goatee like that.
No. I'd like to see you try.
No, I don't think so. Here's Barmas. He is flied to center field. An infield single. That one gets through. Down in the corner. And Barmas has a double.
Of course, Jay, many of the players had great things to say about your work throughout your career, but particularly this year, and the guys that have been with you. But we also want to thank the great cameramen and women that have helped us out so much. We talked about the people in the truck, but the folks that work the cameras, Tony Angelos, Tony West, who's up here in the booth with us, of course, Big Dog, who spends a lot of time with us. Mike,
he's a legend.
Mike Monaco, Barry Bruns, Ken Roberts, Don Maxwell, and John Lawrence all work in the game today, and there are others that have worked the game throughout the course of the season, and we really appreciate the fine work that you do.
Well, you know, when I had the opportunity yesterday to say a word to the crowd here at the stadium, I mentioned our wonderful technical crew, the guys and gals behind the scene. We are blessed to have some really talented people, and without them it would never happen. McKinney, and a foul.
Still looking for his first big league hit, and I'm sure he's had Don Baylor remind him that you're not going to get it unless you swing the bat. He was called out looking in the first and then in the fourth. You'd almost think a guy looking, Jay, for his first big league hit would swing at anything. I mean, just you'd think you'd be anxious, over anxious, but he's almost been the opposite, maybe a little bit too tentative.
They have high hopes for this fella. He's done a nice job in the minor leagues for them over the last 3 years. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This time he got him on a slider.
Rams game has gone final. Cardinal fans reacting to that.
Foul back. Rams win 20-3 over the Seattle Seahawks. Congratulations to Coach Spagnuolo and his squad. They're 2-2. It's been a long time since they've had a 500 record.
And the 2 games that they lost, we all know, were pretty close games as well. And just nice to see it. And he's really done a great job along with his staff turning things around there. And it'll be fun to watch their season unfold.
It sure will.
As well as the Blues. Nice to have. After baseball's over and you start to get a little sad about that, Jay, you realize that, hey, we got hockey. Hey, we got football. We got some other things right around the corner.
Billiken basketball.
You bet.
Coach Majerus put a very talented team on the field, one that'll be very competitive.
That ball almost left the ballpark here, Jay.
Yeah, I was just looking up there. It doesn't happen.
Makes me think of Mike Laga doing that at the old ballpark.
Yeah. And he has struck out all 3 times this afternoon. For all your local sports, visit highschoolsports.net. Highschoolsports.net features the highlights, the schedules, photos, stats, and even the power rankings of the St. Louis area schools. Check out where you went to high school at highschoolsports.net.
And we also appreciate all the folks at News Channel 5, KSTK, all the great folks behind the scenes there at the station and news department, and folks that work the pre and post games. And really has been a great association for you and I, Jay, over the last 4 years.
Andy Moeller, who I had the opportunity to hire many years ago, the sports producer, and of course Rennie Knott, Frank Cusimano, and Katie Feltz, all the gang over there. Mike Shipley, the news director, is an exceptional man, and Lynn Beal and all the sales staff. Been a fun 4 years. Oh, 0-2 the count to Stewart. He's popped out twice this afternoon, and in the 4th inning when he popped out, of course, that terrific play by Schumacher that turned into a double play. And did he go around? Yes, he did. 4-0 Cardinals. Afternoon, and Suppan gets his 5th strikeout of the day there to end the inning. There's a father and son enjoying the game. The memories, the fathers and the sons and the daughters. Of course, nothing like bringing your youngster to the ballpark. You'll remember he had a chance to see Albert Pujols. I was thinking yesterday as I stood and applauded in the 6th after the 6th inning here as Stan the Man and his wife Lil went around the stadium. How fortunate we are to still be able to see the man, and also how fortunate we are to have the opportunity to watch Pujols play. Here's Ryan, fouls it back. Soup on deck. He's going to stay in here. Oh, he's out of the game now.
Looks like Nick Stavinoa will
Stavinoa,
pitch it.
right.
Pitch it
Yeah.
Looks a little bit like Jeff Suppan.
That's what I was
we
looking
walk
down
down to the dugout, get the same kind of facial hair.
Fair ball off the wall. Ryan, stand up double.
Just barely fair. Inside the third base bag. A little bit of front foot hitting for Brendan Ryan. It's the inside part of the base. Just the way you're supposed to. Lead off double. Nice inning going for Brendan Ryan. Seems to be swinging the bat very well.
And a nice job by Suppan. No runs, 5 hits. Had the 5 strikeouts, 1 wild pitch. And 1 walk. Stavinoa hits it to the right side. And it's a 3-1 play. Next Sunday morning at 10 on News Channel 5, it's the all-new Rams Tailgate Show. Get ready for Sunday's NFL action by following the hometown Rams, both on and off the field. Rams Tailgate every Sunday morning at 10 right here on News Channel 5. Schumacher 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Infield pulled in. Francis is from Vancouver, British Columbia. Lives now in the Denver area. Colorado first-round pick in '97.
Looking to cut off the run. The Rockies infield in with Schumacher against the left-hander.
Francis was originally scheduled to be the starter today, a couple days ago.
Well, he's been a starter in his career. He's had some really good seasons for the Rockies.
He's been their opening day starter.
Had some injury issues along the way. It's kind of an odd delivery too. Kind of a short armor.
Down to first. Ryan has to hold on.
14-game winner, then a 13-game winner, then a 17-game winner, 2005.
Phillies coming back in Atlanta. 8-7, top of the 8th. I think I'm kind of like to see Bobby Cox get this club in the playoffs as he's retiring after this season. Joe Mather.
Well, you either get to see Bobby Cox finish his storied career by one more playoff run, or you get to see the Padres join him.
Would be nice for our friend Ryan Ludwig, wouldn't it? Eckstein, of course, is on that club as well. Here's a little shot out into left. Broken bat. Man, that bat really shattered. But Mather gets the RBI. And it's 5-0. Just remind you a little bit of what happened down in Florida, the way that bat shattered. Look at that.
Well, the bat breaks, and Brendan Ryan knows what happened to Tyler Colvin. He's going to make sure that doesn't hit him. What a brutal thing that was.
That really was.
To that young player with the Cubs. Of course, he's recuperating, but to get hit by a broken bat like that.
Line drive into right, but right at Smith. After 6, 5-0 Cardinals.
Playing game number 162 here this afternoon. Ernie Hayes, his last performance here. He's had a great career, and Cardinal fans have really enjoyed his work over the years.
And of course, the love of the game carries over to the love of the food at McDonald's. You got $10, then you can feed the whole team. Right now at McDonald's, you can get 50 hot, crispy chicken McNuggets for just $9.99.
Holiday is receiving a standing ovation. They'll probably want a curtain call from him as well, as he is being lifted here before the start of this inning, calling for Matt Holliday.
There he comes. What an afternoon here. Iannetta at the plate, pops it up. That should finalize the Cardinal batting race, with Holliday leading the game.
Very close. Both players hit .312, but Matt Holliday just a tad higher.
Tony La Russa. With a win this afternoon, La Russa will have 2,636 wins in his career.
He could probably tell you a little bit about every one of those wins.
Probably can. Yep.
Probably has the card.
Amazing.
And the decisions. He's such a note keeper. A little unconventional the way he does that. You look in his office, and it's kind of like an organized mess, kind of like a college professor.
He knows where everything is.
He knows where everything is. And, you know, we've all had professors like that. That you think they're not organized, but they do know. They do know where stuff is, and Tony's a little bit like that in terms of his records. Very, very important to him.
Foul back. Seth Smith this afternoon has grounded out twice. Salas on now doing the pitching. Fernando.
It'll be interesting what the conversation is like regarding Fernando Salas for 2011. The Hot Stove League will start soon enough, Jay. I mean, probably a month after the season's over, World Series done, people will start talking about next year. And, you know, is he a guy that could be a seventh inning specialist for the Cardinals? And does it open up the possibility to make Kyle McClellan a starter if you move Boggs and Mott into that eighth inning role? And do you give them a chance at the ninth inning role? All those things will be interesting conversation as the winter approaches.
And a lot of conversation will start tomorrow with the DeWitts in the front office sitting down with Tony La Russa and the staff.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that, wouldn't you?
Oh, man.
Well, one thing that would be great about that meeting, and you mentioned it earlier, how open and direct John Mozeliak is, and he respects other people who are, and certainly Tony's like that. And Mark McGuire will throw in his opinions. Jose Oquendo's not afraid to say what he thinks. The manager isn't. Neither is Dave Duncan. And you get all those people together, you're going to have a variety of thoughts that go on there. But I think that's what you need to get better. You need a little bit of conflict, a little bit of friction.
Here's a ball that is well hit to center, way back. And is it a home run, or is it a double, or is it a triple? It just hit, I think, right on the top of the wall, and they're going to say it is a triple, I believe. That's the right call, I believe. Can't quite tell. It was right on the top of the wall.
Well, Rasmus disappeared into the fans as a background as far as we could see, but great effort by Colby.
And that's the right call, yep.
Just misses the baseball. Hits the top of the fence. Almost maybe mistimed the jump a little bit, but, you know, he went a long way to get that. That's a great effort by Colby Rasmus.
Here's Peyton Payton is grounded out and singled this afternoon.
I think there will be a day when we'll look at Colby Rasmus and say he is a good major league outfielder defensively. I think he has got another level to which he will grow into.
Here's a little popper, and it's going to be Salas that makes the play. Coming over into foul ground. Salas runs pretty well, doesn't he?
Usually they're telling the pitcher to stay away.
Salas and Ryan and Pagnozzi having a visit. 42,409 the paid attendance this afternoon.
That was a bad at-bat for Jay Payton. Cardinals were giving up a run, and all he had to do was hit the ball on the ground somewhere.
The Cardinals have drawn 3,301,000 plus in this 2010 season. I think that's fourth in the attendance for the 81 home dates. 1 ball and 1 strike to Chris Nelson. He's popped out and singled.
Fernando Salas does not throw 95 miles an hour, but he just did it. He tried to overthrow that ball.
Check the gun.
Well, could be wrong, but I think he just tried to overpower that pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ought to be young and throw 95, Jay. Just dreaming over here. Sorry.
You were young once, but there weren't a lot of them. There weren't a lot of them throwing 95. That's a swing, and the ball is held as Pagnozzi does the job. It's 5-0 Cardinals.
People ask, why Lincoln? Why now?
D3. The home plate area being engulfed now by shadows as we're about at the 20-minute after 3 mark. Nice play by Stewart. Visit the official online shop of the Cardinals at cardinals.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the cardinals.com shop. Here's Colby Rasmus. Flied to center in the second, singled and scored in the fourth, flied to center in the fifth. Colby with a batting average of .274. He's hit 23 home runs this season, has 66 RBIs. Jeff Francis doing the pitching, the third hurler of the afternoon for the Colorado Rockies. Down the line. Colby on to second in time. A double. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Game of inches. Colby Rasmus pulling that just past the first baseman. Couple of hits here for Colby Rasmus. Nice season for him.
Descalzo has a couple of hits. He's reached every time today. Singled in the second, singled and scored in the fourth, reached on an error in the fifth. Our friend Joe Strom, director of ticket sales for the Cardinals, drops by the attendance figures. 42,409 in the building today. Total attendance for 2010, 3,301,218. That's better than 40,700 a game. It's the fourth highest attendance in Major League Baseball, behind the Yankees, Phillies, and Dodgers. 3 million plus attendance, 14th time in franchise history, 7th straight season. And the Cardinals have driven that 3 million mark, or been past that 3 million mark, in 12 of their past 13 seasons. A tribute certainly to a great association between the team and the fans. That's all you can say, huh? Magnificent.
Well, a lot of folks here at the ballpark work hard to make that happen. Joe Strom and his staff that are involved with the tickets, but also the folks who are group leaders and of course the fans that decided that, you know what, this is a great organization to be behind, and some days it works and some days it doesn't. Some teams go to the playoffs and some teams don't, but there are guys, and we're going to continue to support the club. And we, on behalf of the Cardinals, just want to express our appreciation to the fans for continuing to be faithful.
Absolutely. 0-2 the count. They are in the ninth inning at Atlanta. The Braves lead 8-7 over the Phillies. They're in the eighth inning at Boston. Red Sox 8-3 over the Yankees. Fouled out of play.
Padres and the Giants have just begun their game scoreless through one inning. Padres need to win that game to tie the Giants for the National League West.
I believe Latos is going for the Padres. Strikeout.
Padres went there needing to win 3 straight in San Francisco, and they're 2/3 of the way there. And if they win again, they'll have to win the playoff game that would be played in San Diego.
Immediately following today's telecast, stay tuned for the Dave Sinclair Automotive Group Cardinal Game Day wrap-up. The fine folks at Dave Sinclair bring you the highlights from today's action, insights into today's game. News Channel 5, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals. Matt Pagnozzi Matt has flied to right, singled, picked up an RBI in the 4th, struck out in the 5th. It's fouled over the screen.
You know, we mentioned all the great folks in the truck who have worked so hard all year long. We mentioned the cameraman. We didn't talk about Tim Garcia. We sit right next to him, for goodness sake.
I have a note right here about that.
You do?
I'm going to get to it.
We wouldn't even know what's going on, Jay.
He is our production stage manager, and there he is, and he does a splendid job getting us through the days here and nights, and certainly a bright, energetic fella, and just does a superb job here. I hope we haven't forgotten to thank everybody today, but I want to thank a fine young man, Jack Mira, who's helped us throughout the years. Of course, and especially this year, comes down from University of Missouri, a Chaminade boy.
And he's kept us straight with a lot of stats and all kinds of details about the game. Been very helpful.
Chris Bailey, engineer in charge, jack of all trades and master of many.
He makes the telecast happen. He doesn't do his job, you don't see Cardinal baseball.
That's it.
And so many other folks in the truck. It's hard to get everybody's name, and so many people to make this work. Keith O'Brien, Brian McCann, travel with the club on the road, and so many others, Don Lucy, that work hours after hours to bring Cardinal baseball.
Single up the middle. Another run comes home. That's half a dozen, cousin. Rasmus scoring to make it 6-0. Another RBI for Pagnazzi.
What a September he has had. So many opportunities that he's had, and he's come through most of the time. Another RBI for him. And he just keeps putting the bat on the ball, Jay, and finding holes. Looks simple, doesn't it?
Sure does.
If it's so simple, how come we weren't doing it about 5 weeks ago?
He wasn't here.
Okay. Good point.
Oh, my. Baffling game, isn't it?
It absolutely is. So many of the things that we weren't doing, Jay, a number of weeks ago, the Cardinals are doing here. They're getting great starting pitching day in and day out. They're moving runners over. They're taking advantage of opportunities, driving them in, 2-out hits. All those things are happening now.
Off the end of the bat. 6 runs on 11 hits. No errors. Stewart throws on, force at second. Pagnazzi picks up another RBI. The Redbirds lead it 6-0. Channel 5 is brought to you by Window World, a proud sponsor of Cardinals baseball, and by Toyota. It's the Toyota Name Your Trust. Only better. Visit your local Toyota dealer to learn more. At the plate, Paul Phillips, a pinch hitter. Phillips batting .227. It's a final. Atlanta beats Philadelphia 8-7. And the Braves headed into postseason play. If San Diego loses, and there are a lot of scenarios that are possible. Let's take a look at the current standings.
And the playoff that you mentioned may be a one-game playoff that they may have to be involved in, depending upon what San Diego does. So now if San Diego wins, they tie for the wild card. All three teams tie, essentially.
Phillips strikes out.
No score in the second inning in that game out in San Francisco.
Here's Dexter Fowler. Fowler with a single in the first, a walk in the fourth, and a strikeout in the sixth. Here's a long one to right. Way back. And it is gone. That's number 6 in the home run department for Fowler, and RBI number 36. And the shutout goes by the boards.
Fowler's speed is his number one asset, but you don't really need speed if you're going to hit the ball this far. Pitcher's middle in.
Bat, didn't it?
Yeah, he just jumped on it.
373 feet. Clint Barmas. Barmas has flied to center. Reached on a single in the fourth and then doubled in the sixth. Ball and one strike. A couple of football finals. Tennessee loses to Denver 26-20. Jets beat Buffalo 38-14. Green Bay just gets by Detroit 28-26. Cleveland 23-20 over Cincinnati. New Orleans 16-14 over Carolina. These are all finals. And Atlanta beat San Francisco 16-14.
And we'll mention our favorite score one more time.
Yep. 20-3 Cardinals over Seattle. Cardinals, I said. Rams.
He used to have the Cardinals.
Yes.
That used to be confusing, by the way.
That's why I came to town originally.
And it was
came here to
that's
do
right,
the
you
St.
did.
Louis Football Cardinals
Yes,
in
you did.
1966.
Who was coaching the Cardinals back then? Wasn't Wilkerson?
No. See, our coach when I first came to town, he would have been after that. Might have been Charlie Winter. I believe so. Fly ball into left.
Still looking for his first big league hit. Michael McHenry
struck out 3 times this afternoon. He's glad Suppan has left the game. Foul back to the screen. Baltimore beat Pittsburgh 17-14. That's the first loss for the Steelers. They'll be getting Roethlisberger back here, I think, in a week or so. Is he going to strike out 4 times in one afternoon? What do they call that? The golden sombrero?
That's what it is. Don't want that.
You don't want that sombrero, but he's in jeopardy right here.
He wants that baseball. First big league hit. Otherwise, he's got to wait a long time. Last chance. 0-2. Here it is. Oops.
The sombrero he is wearing. 6-1 Cardinals. Contact Ad Creations for all your promotional product and apparel needs. If you want people to remember your name, remember ours. www.adcreations.com. The new pitcher, Edgmer Escalona.
4th pitcher of the afternoon for the Colorado Rockies. We saw him in game 1 of this series.
Let's update your keys to the game, Ricky.
Well, key number 1, Cardinals finishing strong. They have absolutely continued to do that. They've been playing very well of late, getting good pitching, and, of course, doing the little things right to win. Don't get hurt. Suppan got hit by a line drive in the back, but he's okay. So far, so good. And saying goodbye and enjoying Jay Randolph. Wow, I am enjoying you today. And I know all Cardinal fans everywhere are enjoying you this afternoon. This is our last kind of fill of baseball for 2010, Jay, and folks are going to have to wait until spring training next year before you can start thinking about your favorite team again.
Mark Hamilton leading off. I want to thank our friend Steve Winkler and Winkler Productions for putting all of this together. This pop-up off the bat of Hamilton is handled by Barmes, 1 out. Are you a Facebook fanatic? Become a fan of News Channel 5 on Facebook. Simply look up KSDK or link to us by clicking on the Facebook icon on the KSDK.com homepage. Share your views on the latest news and stories about St. Louis on air or online. News Channel 5 is where the news comes first. Skip Schumacher, who is now playing left field, has had a couple of hits this afternoon and grounded out twice as well. His average right now at 265 on the season. Nelson throws on. Escalona made his major league debut with a scoreless, hitless inning on the 10th of September against Arizona. Rick, you mentioned he pitched here on the 30th, 2 innings, gave up a hit, no runs, struck out 1. Joe Mather.
In that Padre Giant game, just to clarify it one more time, Jay, the Braves, by winning, have forced at least, at worst for them, a 3-way playoff with the Padres and the Giants. If San Diego loses, then they are, in fact, the wild card.
Right.
And that game is in the 3rd inning, no score in San Francisco.
McHenry wants to talk to his hurler. With a loss here today, the Rockies will have lost 13 of their last 14 since September the 19th. How about that? What a stinky finish that is, huh? I don't know if stinky's the right word, but
it's not a bad word, Jay. You could have picked worse.
Cardinals with this win, 86 wins, 8 of the last 15 seasons. They've had winning seasons. The tag is made at first base. And we're going to head to the 9th inning. The Redbirds lead 6-1.
Cardinal Baseball, News Channel 5. We'll have our Star of the Game show in just a moment. Cardinals lead it 6-1, but I did want to say congratulations to Jay Randolph on a spectacular career of broadcasting Cardinal baseball. I can still remember being a 19-year-old freshman, sitting down, having lunch with Jay and my father, and asking Jay what's the best way to break into the business. He got me my first job in Kingsport, Tennessee. I still haven't forgiven him for that. He's one of the greats, though, and a true friend, and we'll be seeing a lot of him, I'm sure, around the ballpark. Jay, good luck and congratulations.
Thank you, Frank. And just remember, everybody has to start someplace.
That's right.
We've got John Jay in left field right now. He's taking over out there. Green is at second base. Feliz at third. And we've got McClellan on the mound. And he is facing Stewart, who has popped out twice. Once into a fascinating double play in the fourth when Schumacher made a great throw to the plate. And then he also struck out in the sixth. And he's down on strikeouts here. Cardinals baseball on News Channel 5 is brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center, a proud sponsor of Cardinals baseball. Iannetta stands in. Iannetta today has flied to center. Flied out to right. That was a foul ball over the line. Then he popped out to first. He's 0 for 3. Hard hit ball to center field. Colby on the run, turns around, and there it is. Well, what a nice way to end the season, Rick. 5 victories. You know, this is going to be the first time that the Cardinals have finished in the second spot in the division since '91. They've either won it or finished third all those years. The Cardinals have been first 8 times since Tony La Russa began his tenure as the manager in '96. And here is the end of the season. The Redbirds finish 86 and 76. This afternoon, 6 runs on 11 hits and no errors. 1 run, 7 hits and 3 errors for Colorado. Subban gets the victory and fireworks in center field. A bittersweet season with no postseason play for the Redbirds, but a lot to look forward to in 2011. We'll be back right after this.